Hanika. I hope so. The previous lecture, which I have discussed with you regarding the current density, resistance, resistivity, and Ohm's law, is clear to you. So, in the today's lecture, again, we will have some problem solving that is related with that concept we have covered in the previous chapter, and then we will start the new chapter. So, student, if you remember, I told you P equal to I square R, P equal to V square by R, P equal to VI. There are certain formulas which are basically used to calculate the power dissipation. So, how you will apply here in this question? This is question number 44 of Halliday, Resig and Walker. Now, just I am reading this statement. A student kept his 9-volt 7-watt radio turned on at full volume from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. How much charge went through it? First of all, gather the data. Power is given, voltage is given, and the time is given. There is no direct formula of charge which is basically related with these values. So how you will modify your known formula of charge in terms of power, voltage and time. So the time is basically 5 hours. From 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. it's 5 hours. If you remember, you have the formula P equal to VI. Now I is basically related with the charge and time. So the charge is basically Q equal to IT. So just substitute the value of I here, it will become PT divided by V. Now this is the known data which is given. So just substitute it 7 watt into 5 hours. 5 hours is not the system consistent unit. Just convert it into second by multiplying it with 3600 and divided by 9 volt. You will get the answer 1.410 is to power 4 coulombs. This is the second question, students. Again, if the current is here, which is given alternating current 100 sine 120 pi t. Now you have to calculate charge from this current value for the limit t equal to 0 to t equal to 1 divided by 240 seconds. Now just recall the formulas. You have the formula I equal to dq by dt. So how you will calculate charge if the current is given? It's by calculus. You have to just integrate it. The charge will be integral I dt. And the integration limit is 0 to 1 divided by 240 seconds. Current maximum value 100 ampere sine 120 pi t into dt. And you know this integration of the sine is minus cos. So how you will be able to get it? Because you have the sine integration derivation is cos and cos will be sine. The sine integration will be minus cos here. So just if you will put it here and put the limit 1 divided by 240 seconds in minus 0, you will be able to get 100 divided by 120 pi. Just check it at your home. It should be 0.265 coulombs. Student, now this question is very interesting. A conductor of the uniform radius is given 120 centimeter. It carries the current of 3 ampere produced by the field 120 volt per meter. Now the data is radius, current and field. What is the resistivity? So now just recall the formula. You have to use the microscopic form of the Ohm's law. If you remember, E equal to rho J. So that is I'm using here. Or in other word, in conductivity, you can write it J equal to sigma E. So J is basically I over area, which is pi r square. So just equate these two formula. You will become I over pi r square is 1 over rho E, or directly you can calculate sigma and then take the reciprocal. In both ways, it will be fine. So the conductivity is calculated 55.3 ohm meter inverse, and if you will take the inverse of it, you will get the resistivity, which is basically 0.0181 ohm meter. This is the problem number 4 of this chapter. If you remember, this type of the question we have discussed in previous lectures also. You have the aluminum wire having the cross-sectional area 4 into 10 is to power minus 6 meters square. And you have the current, which is 5 ampere. Now you have to find the drift speed. Remember how the area, current and drift speeds, they are related. You have J equal to NEVD formula we have discussed. The density of the aluminum is given. You have to calculate the number density, which is directly by the table, or you can calculate it by the Avogadro number into the molar mass density divided by M formula. You can calculate it. So if you will just apply that, the number density of the aluminum is 6.02 10 to the power 28 atoms per meter cube. That directly I'm using it from the table. Otherwise, these are the ways which are written here. You can calculate it. So use the formula J equal to NEVD, and J is basically current divided by area. So here you can see the VD is I over charge, number density, the charge into the area. All the data is given. So just use the calculator and check it now. Are you able to get this result? 0.130 millimeters per second. I hope so. These questions are clear to you. So we have done lot of questions related with the chapter 26 concepts. We have done all of example of that chapter. So just go through the chapter, students. Listen the audio, read the slides, and do the questions by yourself at your home. All the solutions are given to you for your convenience. So I hope so. The chapter 26 concept, which was related with the current density, it's clear to you. And why we were discussing that, because in the coming lectures, because we are starting the magnetism now, in the coming lectures you have to deal it with current majorly, because we have to do the Faraday law, we have to do the Ampere's law, we have to discuss the current magnetic field basic definitions. So the current will be used everywhere. So the chapter 28 from Halliday, Resnick and Walker we are going to start, and the title of this chapter is magnetic field. Now students, how you define the magnetic field? As remember, we have discussed the electric field as force per unit test charge, because there was point charges, single electric charge that was existing there. So if the single magnetic charge exists in the nature, then there will be no problem. We can define the magnetic force per magnetic charge will be the magnetic field. But this is wrong. Why I'm saying this is wrong? The reason behind it, there is no monopole exist up till now. So if there is no monopole, it means we will have the magnet. It always have two poles. It's a dipole, north and south. Even we will cut magnet into the small micro pieces, still again you will have the two poles always. So it means the thing which I am saying, magnetic force per magnetic charge, that definition is wrong for the magnetic field. So how we will able to calculate the magnetic field? So for that, the scientists they have done the experiment and they have used the known things. We know the electric charge, and we know if we will accelerate it, what will happen, and we will have the permanent magnets in the nature. There are certain materials which has the magnetic power. So permanent magnet has the permanent magnetic field, and there are certain electromagnets which can become the magnet just by passing the current. So you can see here in the junkyards, they are used in the scrap yards, they also used to scrap metal at the steel mill for the transportation purpose. Now, how you will be able to calculate the magnetic field? Students, I was telling you this experimental result which I am giving you. One second. If you will just focus on this basically formula, which is F equal to QV cross B. This is the experimental results which I am giving you. The scientists, they have done the experiment. What the experiment they have done? If they accelerated, basically they were moving the electric charge. Either it can be positive or negative. There will be some magnetic force existing on it. If they were like, moving them with the velocity v in the presence of some magnetic field P, so the magnetic force will be directly proportional to the velocity to the charge to the B field. And the relation which was discussed was QV cross B, where Q is the charge, V cross B is basically the cross product definition. If I will open it, VB sine theta. And the force direction is always normal to the plane containing V and B. And if the particle will be in the magnetic field, it deflect. And if it will be the electric field, it accelerate. Remember this point. If it will be the electric field, it accelerate. Positive charge in the same direction of field acceleration. And if the negative charge, it will accelerate in the opposite direction. But if it will be in the magnetic field, it will deflect from the straight path. So remember this thing. So from that definition, F equal to QV cross B, we can be able to find the B by that definition. That would be FB divided by QV sine theta. And the units of the B will be Tesla. That is written here 1 Newton per coulomb meter per second, and 1 Tesla is equal to 10 raised to the power 4 Gauss. And you can see here the different values of the magnetic field. At the Earth's surface, you can see it's very small, 10 raised to the power minus 4 Tesla. But in the astrophysics, physical scale, astronomical scale, you can check at the surface of neutron star near the big electromagnetic, the values are very high, 10 to power 8, 1.5, and so on. Even in the interstellar spaces, that value is 10 to the power minus 10. The smallest value in the magnetic shielded room will be 10 to the power minus 14 Tesla. So these are some of the approximate magnetic field values which were calculated. So how students will able to apply this concept to this problem? This is the example one of your book from the chapter 28. Now, uniform B field. Uniform means the magnitude is constant, the direction is constant. That value is 1.2 millitesla directed vertically up. So it means I will write B equal to 1.2 millitesla positive J direction. A proton with a kinetic energy 5.3 mega electron volt enters the chamber, move horizontally from south to north. What magnetic deflecting force? Remember, students, I told you the magnetic field deflects the charged particles. So that is why here it's written magnetic deflecting force acts on the proton. You have to calculate. Now, the data which is given here, the kinetic energy. This kinetic energy will be used to find the velocity. So the kinetic energy is simply half mv square. From here you can find the velocity of the proton by putting the mass here, putting the k here, convert it into the joules. So you will get 3.2 10 to the power 7 meters per second. How you will be able to find the deflecting force? It's simply QVB sine theta. Now theta is not given, but you can check from south to north and vertically up. Both directions are basically perpendicular to each other. So sine theta is 1 basically, sine 90 is 1 here. So it's simply QVB. All the values are known. So you can be able to find the magnetic deflecting force, which is 6.110 is to power minus 15 Newton, which is very small force. But still it acts on the particle of the small mass, producing the large acceleration, and you can calculate FB divided by M will be 3.710 is to power 12 meters per second square. The direction, either you can use your right hand rule, or you can find it by the Cartesian coordinate cross product definition, I cross j, j cross k, k cross I, and you will able to get the directions also. So I hope so student this lecture is clear to you. So in the today's lecture we have done something new as compared to the previous chapter 26. We have discussed the concept of the magnetic field, magnetic force, and we have learned how to apply these things to the numerical. Although we have just discussed the one example of this chapter, but in the coming lectures, inshallah, we will discuss more questions from the exercise of the Halliday-Rezig and Walker chapter 28. So I hope so this lecture is clear to you. So I am looking forward that you will basically read the slides, you will understand the content which I have recorded for you, you will listen it, and if you will have any query, you will discuss with me in the online session, inshallah, which will be held tomorrow. Thank you so much.